A bolt of lightning struck players in the ISSA Digicel Manning Cup football match between Wolmer's boys and the Jamaica College at the Stadium East field on Monday. The incident brought a halt to proceedings with just 5 minutes remaining in the match. At the time of the stoppage, Wolmer's were leading 2-1. Now, 4 players were affected by the lightning strike. Jamaica College's Terence Francis, well, this is a video first. You saw the flash there, and then those 2 boys going down. JC's Terence Francis and Dwayne Allen of Wolmer's. This is a replay of the incident. You just saw that flash across your screen. Yeah, so JC's Terence Francis and Dwayne Allen of Wolmer's were taken to hospital for observation. Joining us on set is the ISSA president, Keith Wellington. Welcome to the SportsMax Zone, sir.
Thank you for having me as well.
Good. First of all, the first place to start, obviously, is the condition of the boys. What's the report, the latest about their condition?
Well, thankfully, they have shown significant improvement. When I spoke with the JC, well, first of all, the Wolmer's young man, he was treated and released last night.
Yes.
One young man who initially went to the hospital, he wasn't speaking or walking, but eventually he came around and he has been moving around and speaking. All the tests that have been done, ECGs, CT scans, they have come back with good results. I think the major issue now seems to be the flash seemed to have affected their eyes, so they are doing some the ophthalmology examine them today, and it appears as if they have passed the worst, and they should be, in all likelihood, should be out of hospital this evening.
All right. So there were 4 players affected overall. You spoke about 2.
Well, there were two players, one Wolmer's, one JC young man who initially were taken to the hospital.
Yes.
Later, one of the young men who was affected,
yes,
he wasn't taken to the hospital initially,
yes,
but later
went.
Complained of
his
pains,
eyes. Yeah.
right? So he was taken after. So 3 persons actually went to the hospital.
Yes. So from here, if they get a clean bill of health, whenever they do so from the doctor, is there a protocol that determines if they can be brought back into the football program, or is it that, given that academics, of course, is the main thing in the school, that they be removed from the football program and allowed to get themselves back together? What happens from here?
Well, right now we're trying to focus on the immediate concern, which is their health right now. We don't have a protocol that speaks to being struck by lightning, because it's such a rare occurrence.
Yes.
However, our protocol as it relates to the health and safety of our student athletes would take effect, which means that the school would first of all have to get a declaration from the medical personnel that they have fully recovered and can participate.
You say there's not a protocol in place because this is not something common, right? But all around the world, many games have been postponed because of lightning.
Right.
So does this mean, I mean, okay, it was a one-off and it happened here in Jamaica. Does this mean moving forward that there will be things put in place? Because, I mean, these players can be affected for life.
Yes. So let me clarify. We at ISSA, there is no specific rule within ISSA's organization of schoolboy football that speaks to what happens with a lightning strike. There are protocols as it relates to emergency. And of course, we are sanctioned by the JFF and FIFA, so all the JFF and FIFA mandates would apply. Luckily for us, I think, luckily for us, the game was being officiated by one of our most experienced referees, who would have had the opportunity to work under conditions that dictated that he enact the FIFA regulations as it relates to lightning and thunderstorms. And so he would have acted based on his experiences with the FIFA regulations.
Do you felt he acted too slowly, or he acted in time?
From all the reports I've gotten, initially, the first report I got was actually from the immediate past president, Dr. Walton Small, who was at the game. So I got a report from him immediately after the incident took place. I got reports from the Jamaica College management staff, and then we heard the reports from the JC coach. I spoke with the referee himself. From all that he did, I have to commend him for acting, I think, very professionally. In retrospect, there are always the opportunity for you to think about what you did and how could you have done it better.
Yes.
But I could not fault him for the way he acted in this instance.
What are the parents of these affected boys saying?
I have not spoken with the parents. As I said, we are focusing now on the health of the students, and we are we're happy that they are being treated carefully. The JC family has really, especially the JC, because the Wolmer's young man went home yesterday,
Yes.
but the JC, I know Mr. Forbes slept at the hospital last night. So, and they have been other persons around the team have been rallying around the young men. So, I have not spoken directly with the parents, but we are confident that the situation is being handled well by Jamaica College.
Well, I should say that I know that certain rules governing competitions or events sometimes are written to say that in the event of an act of God, this or so will happen. Of course, a lightning strike is an act of God.
Right.
And not many competitions or events will have facilitation made in the rules for an act of God happening. That being said, the Dominic James incident, Principal, gave us an opportunity to fix so many things about the health protocols surrounding football games. And I mentioned that to ask if when those boys, the two that went straight to hospital from the game, were they transported there by private car or by the ambulance or quasi-ambulance that ISSA has at these games?
They were transported by ambulance that was on site.
Yes.
And you know, coincidentally, two things. One, we wrote to all the schools and the referees just last week, Monday, to remind them of the protocols regarding emergencies, the fact that they needed to ensure that medical personnel was there, that there was an emergency vehicle in place, that a clearly defined route was in place and kept clear for exit. That was last Monday that we wrote to them to remind them, and to the referees as well. We also pointed out in that document that the health and safety of the players take precedence over all game situations. So it doesn't matter where you are in the game, what is happening. Once the health and safety of a player comes into question, then that must take precedence over all game situations. So if it's 1 second leaving the game and you're about to win a penalty, it must take precedence over everything. So that was last Monday that we wrote to them. The issue of the Dominic James situation, again, you're right. It provided a significant teaching moment for us. We actually, I spoke with the parents of Dominic James just last week as well. I know we were having that discussion. So we think that, yes, you're right. It provided us an opportunity for us to learn and to put in place measures that reinforces what we would have been saying before that incident.
And I have to ask, so this game again, the Dominic James situation, of course, taught ISSA what to do and what to have in place. But this game was at Stadium East Field. It's in St. Andrew Parish, Kingston City, so it's a prominent place. You'd expect certain things to be there or persons to have vehicles to be able to make a mad dash if needs be. If this game, Principal, had happened in Titchfield or in
Moko.
In Moko, there you go, where the teams are playing there. Is the protocol strong enough and adherence to the protocol from the school strong enough that one would have reasonably expected that an emergency vehicle would have been at those far-flung grounds to do the same thing for the boys affected there as happened yesterday at Stadium East?
So the instructions to the schools and the referees is that these checks must be done prior to the start of the game, and if they are not in place, the game should not be played and the home team will concede the game with a 3-0 margin.
Excellent. So there's something robust in place to ensure that the rules are complied with. Beyond that, the issue of what to do in the event of a lightning strike. Well, tell me, you've been with this how long?
Since 2009.
2009. And even before that, your schools were involved in ISSA competition. Do you ever recall an act of God affecting players in the manner that the Lightning did yesterday?
No, I can't recall it affecting them. I can recall incidents taking place where the persons on the field of play had to act.
Yes.
In terms of cutting the game.
Yes.
But someone actually being hit.
Yes.
No.
So players have been taken from the field before, but not players hit by lightning.
No,
all right.
No.
So I'm saying now, so from here, what does ISSA now set down to say, all right, from the incident on Monday, we learned these lessons, we took these steps. Going forward, we're going to take these additional steps along with those. Is this now the basis for a protocol to be written and enforced we're treating with acts of God, i.e. lightning and thunderstorms are concerned?
All right, so one of the shortcomings that we have as a society, I remember the first MLS game I attended in Colorado, it should have been a 4 o'clock game. And at 2:45, I was driving to the stadium, and we heard an announcement that the game will be delayed for an hour because a lightning storm is likely to occur at 4:30.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I don't know that we have that capacity in Jamaica where we can have that lead time in terms of lightning or thunderstorms and so on. So we have that shortcoming. However, we have rules that react to what happens. What we need now to do is to educate and find means of getting our match officials, our schools, to make risk assessment in terms of what is the likelihood of something happening based on the current conditions. As I said before, luckily Carl Terrell, who did the game yesterday, he's an experienced FIFA referee, and he would have encountered situations like this before, and so he was able to act. What we need to do is to get more persons in a situation where they can act based on their knowledge and experience.
Are you all in contact with the meteorological offices, like, just monitoring the weather and whatnot before games?
No.
No?
No.
Well, I was going to say to you that, I take the point.
There's no official link between ISSA and the meteorological office.
But principal, we are in the age now where you have grandchildren?
Yeah, I made that clarification because I suspected you were going to say what you're about to say.
Right, and I'll say just the same for the benefit of the viewers, that you have devices now which tell you what's happening. And if you go to the Met Services website, as a former news editor, I used to live on the Met. One of the first things I checked when I went into the newsroom in the mornings. It gives you the forecast. And so if you know that there are thunderstorms forecast for certain locales at a certain times, at least you'll know, and you'll say, I will take the back of your mind to say your officials, well, gentlemen and ladies, be vigilant, because in the case this happens, they need to enact a protocol. So I like the answer you gave and the explanation, but I wanted you to answer the specific question, which is, does what happened on Monday give you basis to at least write something down as to how to guide the process? Of course,
no, as humans and intelligent humans, we learn from our experiences, and if we are as intelligent as we think we are, we act on those on what we would have learned. And yes, I think one of the things that I personally, as a new president of ISSA, want to do is to have a lot more in writing in terms of how we function. And this is another opportunity to provide some guidance to our schools as to how to act under these specific circumstances.
You're an association of presidents, so I'm sure integrity means a lot. And if one of your colleagues says, well, this is actually so, their word is taken. But in the case where these boys are concerned, if it is that a medical certificate is provided, that these boys have a clean bill of health and are fit to resume, you're saying that the declaration from the medical professional, backed up by some narration from the principal of the particular school, in this case JC and Woolmer's, would be taken by ISSA as gospel, and there would be no need for another medical opinion from someone employed by ISSA. I just want to get that straight. What happens?
Yes, as it is now, we as I said, we don't have a protocol, but our common sense protocol would first of all indicate that these young men have to be cleared medically. We have persons who would have advised us independent of the schools, and therefore whatever is suggested to us, we would seek verification from independent sources, as is customary.
Do you think this will affect the ISSA schoolboy football competition going forward, especially because many parents where children are concerned, and I have to say children because it's young boys, right, where they are concerned, are afraid to put their children in danger. Do you think this will affect them?
I am hoping not. I hope that it will affect us in the sense that we will be a little bit more aware and therefore act a little bit more careful in ensuring that safety and security, safety and health is protected. So in that way, I expect that I would want it to affect us in that way. But in terms of a negative, something negative happening in terms of withdrawal from competitions and so on, I would not think that it is going to affect us significantly.
So we have a school principal here, so we have to exercise our vocabulary. So just closing, principal, to make it pellucid, crystal clear. Yes. You're saying that where these boys are concerned, those affected, the medical all clear has to be given, and then ISSA has to clear them to resume. So it's not a situation where the coach can get a medical certificate from the doctor saying that they're fine to play and then he picks them. You have to get clearance from ISSA to resume.
It's a collaborative effort with us. And remember, these schools are our schools. They are member schools, and therefore the JC principal is an ISSA member. And when he acts as a representative of ISSA, representing his own school.
Yeah.
And with all our discussions, he will be guided by us in terms of how do we integrate these young men back into the competition if it is possible for them to be reintegrated. I know that they are also concerned because I've spoken with the JC staff probably a dozen times since yesterday afternoon, and in our discussion that has also been mentioned that there has to be some care given as to when and how these young men are asked to be involved further in the competition.
And I know we're out of time, but I hope you appreciate what I'm trying to do. It is to inform many of those who will have discussions about what should happen to the boys when they are clear. So I just wanted to get it clear, and you have made it clear, that it is not a case where, although the principal is a member of ISSA and the school is a member of ISSA, of course, that they get that medical all clear, that they then just notify ISSA that, oh, these boys are medically clear, and they play.
We have to be satisfied that they are clear.
That's what I wanted to get out. All right, so the ISSA president, Keith Wellington, is the principal of St. Elizabeth Technical High School, that fine institution in central Jamaica. And he says all is being done to ensure that the health and wellness of the players affected by that lightning strike, that health and wellness, that's paramount right now. Football is a distant concern, and once the boys are well and are cleared medically, then they should be able to play. But that's not on anybody's minds right now. It's just to get them up and running, so to speak. We take a break. Welcome. Thank you for coming, Principal.
Thank you. You're welcome, sir.
All right.